Welcome to this step-by-step guide on Azure Synapse Ingestion from Azure Data Lake Storage. Azure Synapse is a cloud-based enterprise data warehouse that allows you to integrate and analyze data from various sources. In this tutorial, we will walk through the process of ingesting data from Azure Data Lake Storage into Azure Synapse. First, you need to create an Azure Synapse workspace and link it to your Azure Data Lake Storage account. To do this, navigate to the Azure portal and search for Azure Synapse. Create a new workspace and follow the prompts to link it to your Azure Data Lake Storage account. Next, create a new pipeline in Azure Synapse. A pipeline is a series of activities that are used to ingest data from various sources. To create a pipeline, navigate to the Integrate tab in Azure Synapse and click on the plus sign to create a new pipeline. Give your pipeline a name and description and then add a new activity. In this case, we will be using the Copy Data activity to ingest data from Azure Data Lake Storage. To do this, click on the Copy Data activity and select Azure Data Lake Storage as the source. You will then need to specify the file path and file name of the data you want to ingest. Once you have specified the source, you will need to specify the sink. In this case, the sink will be Azure Synapse. Select Azure Synapse as the sink and specify the database and table where you want to ingest the data. After specifying the source and sink, you will need to specify the mapping. The mapping specifies how the data from the source should be transformed and loaded into the sink. To do this, click on the Mapping tab and select the columns from the source that you want to map to the sink. Finally, click on the Deploy button to deploy the pipeline. Once the pipeline is deployed, you can trigger it to run by clicking on the Trigger button. The pipeline will then ingest the data from Azure Data Lake Storage into Azure Synapse. In conclusion, ingesting data from Azure Data Lake Storage into Azure Synapse is a straightforward process that can be accomplished using the Copy Data activity in Azure Synapse. By following these steps, you can easily integrate and analyze data from various sources using Azure Synapse. Best practices include monitoring the pipeline for any errors and optimizing the pipeline for performance.